And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth. Get amazing services. Thank you.
Not the house of cards that falls down easily. I'm strong enough to handle what you throw at me.
Mental Health News Radio, produced by MHNRNetwork.com, your source for information about our favorite subject, mental health. This show is brought to you by our incredible sponsors like ZenCharts.com, the intelligent EHR for addiction treatment organizations, and MyGenetics, that's MyGenetx.com, changing the way people are diagnosed and treated around the world, helping you better understand what makes you well. Don't you want information about yourself that empowers your mental health treatment? Also, who is minding the store, the finances of your behavioral health organization? TriadicLLC.com, that's TriadicLLC.com, is a full-service revenue cycle management and billing company focused on all the ins and outs of mental health billing. Our sponsors help keep this show on the air and advocating for everyone affected by mental health. Guess who that is? Everyone in the world. Take a listen to our show all the way to the end. You don't want to miss Miles the Therapy Dog's special goodbye. Hey everyone, this is Kristen Sononta Walker, and I'm here with Jonathan Bertrand. Jonathan, thanks again for co-hosting with me.
You're welcome.
Jonathan is a podcaster on our network with Jonathan, you tell everyone so they know.
Okay. Well, I'm the lead podcaster for the Social Networking Effect podcast on Mental Health News Radio network, and we talk about how social media affects the psychological mind as well as education and many different other areas. And we have a diverse background because social media touches everybody and anybody.
Absolutely. And our guest today is Nick Green with BehaviorFit LLC. Nick, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now, I know you're not just with BehaviorFit, but you're doing many things. So please tell our listeners a little bit about your background.
Sure, yeah, I kind of wear multiple hats here. Currently, my main job is a full-time PhD student at the University of Florida. I'm in the third year of what I hope to be a 4-year program. With the dissertation deadlines, that should be fun. But I'm a student in behavior analysis, and that's in the Department of Psychology. And so what I study is how the environment is arranged around us to help us, behave accordingly to what we're supposed to or not. And so that's kind of my main background. And specifically, I research sedentary behavior or too much sitting in the workplace. So it's for anybody that's listening in their chairs right now, public service announcement, just go ahead and stand up every 30 minutes and, you can visit my website later, which we'll get into. But that's kind of my main background as an academic. And I can get a little bit into, what kind of led me there. So,
absolutely.
Again, I'm in my third year of the program, and before that, I got my master's degree in organizational behavior management, which is just applying the science of human behavior to the workplace. So any type of performance issue or something that could go, good or bad at work, you can apply the same science to the workplace just to make yourself a better day. And we've all had our days, so I'm sure any one of us could think of something that we'd want to get better. So I studied that at the Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne, Florida, and
lovely
area. It's my wife and I lived on the beach, and it's everything that it's cracked up to be. So if you have the opportunity, I recommend that you jump on it. So with my kind of area and interest in behavioral science and workplace things, I kind of fell into this opportunity to study healthy behavior change, and that led me to the University of Florida. So I've been in the academic world for a few years now, and it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about Melbourne, because we lived in Hollywood, Florida, so we were in the expensive zone, and we have relatives on the Gulf side, and we would always go up to Melbourne and go, you can actually afford to live on the beach in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's a very nice community. We live in Indian Harbor Beach, and maybe I shouldn't say that, and everybody's going to move there, but yeah, it's a nice retirement community, and I'm a little older student. I'm in my early 30s, so we like the laid back lifestyle, and we don't need to go out and party as much as we used to or anything like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Very nice community.
Then you have to analyze that behavior and go, how effective was that for my life? And that's never good. So
yeah. Certain times in our life we do certain things. That period is over. So I'm into the relaxing times now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got hooked up with the Next Gen Revolution Summit, which is going to take place the first or the second week of November this year in Miami, Florida. You're one of the speakers.
Right. Yeah. So I met Ryan O'Donnell, who's the founder of the conference, and he had organized it over the past year, and I met him at a conference. I think at our Denver conference, but I've kind of known him. It's one of those deals where he went to FIT as well, but he was like a year or two ahead of me. And so we're kind of running in the same circles, and eventually we got hooked up. And I think I liked what he was doing with entrepreneurship and technology and expanding behavioral science, and I started my own thing with BehaviorFit, and it just seemed like a real natural fit. So we, started texting, emailing, and the rest is history.
Right. I'm curious, Jonathan, you're on your computer a lot too, and yet you look like you run sprints every day, all day long. So what do you think about this piece with, not sitting so much, since what we do is so much on a computer?
Well, I'm curious to know the behavior side too, because me, what we deal with or what I deal with mainly is phones, and I see with what I do, I'm always, stuff always in my hand. But you're right. Do I sit normally? And now you're gonna make me think about it, because really, I'm sitting down when I'm on the phone. I'm checking social media accounts. When I'm on an email, or I'm currently sitting down right now on the bed, with a laptop in my legs, or in my legs, and then also I have my phone in hand. So it's kind of ironic, but it's an interesting part, and I never actually thought people do research that deep into sitting down in the first place.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'm curious to know more, because I've never heard of it be taught in this form or fashion.
The catchphrase who kind of started all this for me about 3 or 4 years ago was this phrase called "sitting is the new smoking." Have either of you heard that before?
Yes, actually, no. Yeah, I have heard that. Yeah, I just interviewed someone yesterday in England that started dynamic running therapy, and he wrote a book about that. And he's a psychologist that does his counseling with his patients while they're walking or running. And I thought that's so fascinating, but still the science behind that, I'm interested to hear, since this is what you study.
Yeah. And Jonathan, did you say that that was a new phrase? You'd never heard that before?
Yeah, I've never heard that before, ever.
Okay. Yeah. So, so this kind of ties into my history here between going from a master's program to the PhD program to forming BehaviorFit along the way, was that, as a master's student, you have to come up with like a thesis and a topic. And I myself was going through this kind of personal journey of, I transitioned. I'm from Indiana, and I wasn't really exercising. I didn't have a consistent routine. And then, I started making some personal changes in my life, and I started working out more, and, I obviously saw the benefits. And then come thesis selection time, I came across these blogs that, all these journalists a few years ago were picking up on all this health research that looked at the issue with sitting, or sedentary behavior, as the researchers call it. And, what it comes down to is that even if you exercise, just for argument's sake, let's say you run 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and meet those minimum recommendations, the amount of sitting you do throughout the day is an independent risk factor that's associated with other risks for preventable disease. So, if you look at all the fancy, statistics and charts and everything, that's basically the more time that you accumulate, so the more that you sit down, the total duration throughout the day, that's problematic. You have a higher risk for heart disease, various cancers, things like that. And then it's also important to break up your sitting pattern frequently. So the two recommendations that have come out are to basically, if you have an office job, reduce 2 hours of sitting throughout your day at a minimum, start working up to more, and then just to get up and move around at least every 30 minutes.
What is that, and this is probably a stupid question, but what is the impetus for this? Is what I hear from people. We did the whole treadmill at the desk and trying to walk and type, and it's people, I know for me, I had a really hard time with it. I kept thinking the whole time I was doing it, I'll do that task when I can sit down. I couldn't seem to get past in my head. So what do you say about that?
In general, I'm a big proponent of the standing desks and getting up and moving and kind of taking that approach. But there is an adjustment period where, if we look at sitting and working as a behavior that's been reinforced or occurs a lot, from your whole entire work experience. So it's like, I'm used to sitting down and working and typing for 20 years. And now all of a sudden I'm standing up and working. So I found myself personally, it's like, now you're standing and working and it feels weird. You're actually thinking about it. I'm standing up and working and you're not as focused, so to speak. And there is an adjustment period, but eventually, you kind of get past it.
That becomes the new normal?
Yeah, it eventually becomes the new normal. But then again, you're hitting on another point that has been very informative from the feedback I've gotten from my research participants, that there just are some certain tasks, so this is a, environmental thing, that we go to work, we have to do certain things that are just kind of incompatible with getting up and moving around or, standing up.
Right.
If your desk isn't situated the right way, and you follow, let's say you want to follow ergonomic guidelines, how to best set up your desk. There's certain things that aren't going to be perfect, and, it's okay not to be perfect, but, there's work tasks are, a huge contributor to how much we're active or not.
Interesting.
Wow.
I know this whole concept.
Am I throwing too much out at you guys?
No.
Oh, no. This is a whole new different type of genre of conversation. I didn't know this much went into sitting down and understanding the patterns, the psychological state of mind, and what sets up on the desk and how it makes you feel. That's new. That was the initial thing that I thought too. It's like, I'm just going to do a little thesis on that. But of course I got interested in it. So it was, fun for me to read about, but then it just opened up this whole world. I have a little slide I have in one of my videos where I realized that just a simple task, just like you're saying, Jonathan, of just sitting down and working overlaps with exercise science, behavior science, ergonomics, long-term health outcomes, organizational workplace variables. And so that's kind of, my research is kind of looking at all those together separately, different.
Something else too, and I want to tantalize listeners to go and hear you. Actually, they can do it online as well, because I didn't realize that this conference was going to be online as well as that you can actually show up there. But so I don't want to give too much away, because I want people to be so fascinated by this that we need to think about it. But the first thing that struck me, someone that I've dealt with having an eating disorder, and what's interesting about that for me is when you don't, or being in a space of, I need to be concerned about eating more food in order to keep up with how much I'm moving. That is like that whole idea of living in that way. When I'm around, like one of my brothers is just constantly, I think he has 0% body fat, which I'm sure is not actually real, but anyway, it's pretty much down there. Never sitting. He's always, and he has to carry bags of food around with him and constantly be eating in order so he doesn't just disappear. So that's a concept. So then you're getting into addiction and all kinds of other things as well, food addiction specifically. So that whole piece just kind of blows my mind thinking about that. Oh, looking for food, foraging.
Foraging. The addiction comment made me think of, I've read so many blogs and articles about this that some people have gone as far as saying that we are addicted to our chairs. We just use them so much, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we're addicted to sedentary activities, and we're addicted to stuffing our feelings and doing that with food, alcohol, other substances. Social media, absolutely. So yeah, this ties into addiction as well. So it would be an interesting life. It's not the norm. It needs to be changed, obviously, but more people, and you see that with clothes sizes are now, becoming larger, is more acceptable and so on. And I'm not fat shaming at all, but I'm thinking, I'm glad that we're not shaming people, but I love what you're doing, because getting people to not only think about work in terms of standing and moving to do it, but also thinking about, hey, I need to nourish my body and put calories into it. Otherwise, I'm going to have such a deficit, I can't keep up with all this physical activity. That's not the norm.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of changes. That the mental changes are different too. If you're thinking about working and standing up, that's going to be a little different. It's going to throw your concentration off. But two, there's going to be physical changes. If you have a sedentary office worker that's been, at their desk for 10, 15 years again, their muscles have been adapted that they don't need to use them all day. And so if you're going to be standing up, there's going to be a physical adjustment too, of like your feet are going to hurt and, your legs you're standing up. My wife and I always talk about how, when, if you're a family and you go to Disney World, right? So we live in Gainesville, Florida, so we're very close to Orlando. You go on vacation once a year, and you're walking probably with your family 5 to 10 miles every day for like 4 days straight. Your leg is going to be super tired. Whereas before, you're probably only walking a couple miles a day. So there's such a difference in the physical demands of the day. I think it applies to the workplace too.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay. In question. I don't know if this is off topic or not, but I have a question. When it comes to sitting down or standing up, have you done research and how social media plays a part in that? Whether people prefer sitting down or standing up on social media?
Not specifically with social media. Just the general. Sometimes I get questions about, well, should I stand all day? And I have a blog on my BehaviorFit website. You can check that out, of course. But the idea, this is a new topic probably, for you guys and for a lot of your listeners, that it's all about just general movement. So just, even if you're standing at the standing desk, it's still important to leave the desk and walk around and get general activity. So whether it's social media that you're consuming or writing a blog post or watching the video, changing your position frequently is the important key.
Okay. So it's not so much that you have to be walking while you're working. That's great, but it's more what you're talking about is just get up. Don't just sit there all day long. Yeah.
And just to tie it in kind of further here with the behavioral piece, we're kind of talking about people's preferences and what they want to consume, what we would call reinforcers. So social media has a lot of things that we like about it. So we do it a lot. So, what are the other activities that we like to do, and are they going to put us in a bad position? So it's like there's a thing called text neck that's out there. So I ride a bus and I see a lot of students, they're just looking down the whole time, and so they're putting so much weight on their head,
right,
and neck. I'm not a chiropractor or anything, but I've just read a lot about these things. So it's just there's just general things that are things in the environment. So looking down at that powerful reinforcer on the phone, we love it. It's like candy for us, a little bit of brain candy, and it's just taking a toll on our bodies, and our bodies evolved to move frequently.
Interesting. Yeah, it's it is like candy. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be interesting. When you're doing a presentation like this, how are you doing that presentation? Are you moving about as you're talking with the audience?
Yeah, it's kind of funny right now. So when I plan like interviews and stuff on the phone, I have my headphones in and I'm walking around right now. So there's something else that you can always do. I don't know, Jonathan, how quickly you can put your headphones in and walk around, but quick. That's one strat.
I was thinking too, what age groups are there, obviously older that, do you have it tied down to age groups that if you are between 40 and 50, this is the type of pushback you're going to get because that social media, wasn't started for you later in life, or the idea of just always sitting, just things like that tied to different ages or stages of life?
Oh, like the amount of sitting that we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much common across all age groups that just over time, physical activities kind of been engineered out of our environment. So we have apps that deliver food to us, and we can sit and, nothing against like Amazon, but they have those buttons to where you can have, laundry detergent delivered to you. So now, like, you don't have to carry, the detergent, from your car. You don't have to carry it from your cart to your car to back into your house. It just shows up Amazon. So it's just all those little things I think add up, and
you're right. Everything is designed.
It all creates a very inactive lifestyle. I have a slide in some of my workshops that I deliver that's a picture of from WALL-E, the Pixar Disney movie.
I was going to bring that movie up, and I thought, no, that's that movie is so true.
It's a picture of very overweight people sitting in reclining chairs, drinking what looks like pop and playing on invisible iPads, or transparent iPads, and it's just like the robot WALL-E walks past, and it's just it's amazing how Disney movies like that provide accurate social commentary and warnings. It's just like, if we don't shape up and do some things, this is what's going to happen.
And that is what it is becoming. So you're good timing for you or good field of study for you to try to wrestle that back in, or even if you're not trying to convince people, just showing them, well, if this is a choice that you make, then this is the result that you can expect out of it, and it's up to you.
And just to go back to your original question about how I present and things like that, so simple, what we call an environment manipulation that I do in my presentations is that if I'm talking to an audience for 60 minutes, I will put a slide about halfway through that says, this is a prompt to get up and move around, and then I have people stand up and move around and stretch just for like 30 to 60 seconds. And you can see that I've done this because on my Instagram page, I'll have selfies of myself showing people that, hey, look, we did it. We can get up and move every 30 minutes. It's a very simple thing, but if it's not part of our work culture or our conference culture, if we don't add it in there purposefully, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Well, I'm excited to hear your presentation, and I think this is funny that Jonathan and I both are like, wow. We are people that aren't speechless, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, no, I don't get to much, and I'm over here sitting in a chair, and giving an analysis. I'm sitting in a chair, and now what he's going to have me do, now I'm going to be going into my research and be like sitting there like, okay, how can I tie research into, do people prefer sitting down on social media or standing up?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's a different perspective that like I said, as you can tell by my voice, I've never even thought of.
Yeah, I'm glad that, I guess I'm kind of humbled that I've made you guys speechless, but, with my kind of mission with BehaviorFit, I find myself being, I'm kind of a health educator, research scientist, disseminator of the science. So it's kind of have multiple purposes, and my vehicle is this too much sitting thing, and it's getting people up and active. And our behavioral science approach, has a lot of value that can, bring individuals and organizations.
And certainly what you're doing is, creating wellness. So there's nothing wrong with that. Tell us, before we close for today, tell us what kind of dog is Pete?
Oh, Pete, yeah, he is he must have been on my bio there.
Yeah.
He is a Jack Russell, Australian cattle dog mix.
Oh, so very active.
He's about 3 years old. We got him from the pound. We love him to death. I'm looking at him right now. He's taking a nap. We had a long walk before I got on the show here this morning.
Nice. Well, I've got 4 border collies, but I'm definitely not as fit as you. But this keeps coming up in my life, so it must be something for me to look at. So, Nick, thanks so much for coming on the show, and please tell our listeners where they can find out more about you.
You can visit my main website is www.behaviorfit.com, and I'm active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Everything /BehaviorFit, all one word, so BehaviorFit. I have a blog that I put out every month and a newsletter. Have a lot of resources out there. And I'm just happy to share all the information I've learned over the past couple of years, and any comments and feedback and interest is wonderful.
Fantastic. And we're, just so our listeners know, a reminder, Nick will be speaking at the Next Gen Revolution Summit. You can go to nextgenrevolutionsummit.com to find out more information. It'll be coming up the second week of November of this year, 2017, in Miami, Florida. You can also find out about how to connect online to enjoy the speakers at the summit also. So, Jonathan, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
And thanks to our listeners for another edition of Mental Health News Radio. Get ready for it, because here it comes. But first, thank you again to our sponsors like EverythingEHR.com, devoted to helping organizations finding the best electronic health record in behavioral health, and Service Dogs by Warren Retrievers, SDWR.org, a nonprofit organization that provides service dogs to those with unique abilities and invisible diseases, to include autism, diabetes, epilepsy, and PTSD. Until there's a cure, there's a dog. And hey, an SDWR service dog is at work every day with one of our own team members. If you have a question, visit us at mentalhealthnewsradio.com or our network of podcasters at MHNRNetwork.com. Disruptors, healers, technologists, advocates, and most importantly, voices to be heard from all corners of the globe. Thank you so much for joining us.
And now a final word from our therapy dog, Miles.
Good boy.
Finish what you started and earn your nursing or health sciences degree. Rasmussen College offers more than 20 innovative healthcare programs that provide a high level of support. When it comes to your education, you can continue living your life and benefit from flexible, online, and accelerated learning options as you earn your degree without sacrificing your schedule. Bring it home and see where it takes you. Learn more at rasmussen.edu.